Warning: the following story contains descriptions of graphic violence. Viewer discretion is advised.
In the quiet fields of Canada, a shadow lurked among the pigs. A man with a sinister secret, a farmer by day and a predator by night. Join me as we delve into the chilling tale of Robert William Pickton, the pig farmer killer, a story of darkness hidden beneath the facade of rural life. Between 1995 and 2001, Pickton is believed to have murdered at least 26 women, many of them sex workers from Vancouver's downtown east side. Pickton would confess to 49 murders to an undercover RCMP officer disguised as a cellmate, going on to say he wanted to make it an even 50, but thought he was caught because he got sloppy. In 2007, he was convicted on 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years, the longest possible sentence for a second-degree murder under Canadian law at the time. In 2010, the Crown Attorney officially stayed the remaining 20 murder charges, allowing previously unrevealed information to be made available to the public, including that Pickton previously had a 1997 attempted murder charge dropped. Crown prosecutors reasoned that staying the additional charges made the most sense, since Pickton was already serving the maximum sentence allowable. The discovery of Pickton's crime sparked widespread outrage and forced the Canadian government to acknowledge the crisis of missing and murdered Indigenous women, with the British Columbia provincial government forming the Missing Women Commission of Inquiry to examine the role of the police in the matter. Pickton died in 2024 after being attacked in prison by another inmate. This is the case of Robert Pickton. Robert Pickton was born on October 24, 1949, to Leonard Francis Pickton and Lois Helen Arnall, a family of pig farmers in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, 27 kilometers east of Vancouver. Pickton's older sister, Linda Lois Wright, was sent off to live with relatives in Vancouver as their parents thought that the family pig farm would be an inappropriate setting to raise a young girl. Robert and his younger brother David Francis Pickton began working at the farm at an early age, and their mother was very demanding, prioritizing the pigs over the brothers' personal hygiene and forcing them to work long hours raising the farm's livestock. Lois often sent the brothers to school in unwashed, dirty clothes, reeking of manure and earning them the nicknames Stinky Piggy from their classmates. Robert was strongly attached to her and rarely interacted with his abusive father. He struggled in school, being put in a special class after failing grade 2. At the age of 12, he began raising a calf which became his beloved pet. 2 weeks later, after not finding it after school, he was told to check the barn and was distraught to find it slaughtered. Pickton dropped out of school in 1963 and began working as a meat cutter. He continued to do so for nearly 7 years before leaving to work full-time at the farm. In 1978 and 1979, the parents died and the siblings inherited the pig farm, selling parts for $5.16 million. Worker Bill Hiscox called the farm a creepy-looking place, patrolled by a 600-pound boar, and described Pickton as a pretty quiet guy, hard to strike up a conversation with, whose occasional bizarre behavior, despite no evidence of substance abuse, would draw attention. On March 23, 1997, Pickton was charged with the attempted murder of sex worker Wendy Lynn Eastetter, whom he had stabbed several times during an altercation at the farm. She told police he had handcuffed her and that she had escaped after suffering several lacerations. She told them she had disarmed him and stabbed him with his weapon. He sought treatment at Eagle Ridge Hospital, while Eastetter recovered at the nearest emergency room. Pickton was released on a $2,000 bond, and the attempted murder charge against him was stayed on January 27, 1998, because Eastetter had drug addiction issues, and prosecutors believed her too unstable for her testimony to help secure a conviction. David was convicted of sexual assault in 1992, being fined $1,000 and given 30 days probation. In that case, the victim told police that David had attacked her in his trailer at the pig farm, but she had managed to escape. Robert had also been sued 3 times for traffic offenses in 1988 and 1991, settling all 3 claims out of court. The Pickton brothers were eventually sued by Port Coquitlam officials for violating zoning ordinances, neglecting the agriculture for which it had been zoned, and having altered a large farm building on the land for the purpose of holding dances, concerts, and other recreations. They had begun to neglect the site's farming operations and registered a non-profit charity, the Piggy Palace Good Time Society, with the Canadian government in 1996, claiming to organize, coordinate, and manage and operate special events, functions, dances, shows, and exhibitions on behalf of service organizations, sports organizations, and other worthy groups. Its events included raves and wild parties, featuring Vancouver sex workers and gatherings in a converted slaughterhouse on a farm at 953 Dominion Avenue in Port Coquitlam. These events attracted as many as 2,000 people, and members of the Hells Angels were known to frequent the farm. Subsequently, the Pickton brothers ignored growing legal pressure and held a 1998 New Year's Eve party, after which they were faced with an injunction banning future parties. The police were authorized to arrest and remove any person attending future events at the farm. The society's nonprofit status was removed the following year for inability to produce financial statements. It was subsequently disbanded. On February 6, 2002, police executed a search warrant for illegal firearms at the Pickton property. Both Pickton brothers were arrested, and police obtained a second warrant using what they had seen on the property to search the farm as part of the BC Missing Women investigation. Personal items belonging to missing women were found at the farm, which was sealed off by members of the joint RCMP, Vancouver Police Department Task Force. The following day, Pickton was charged with weapons offenses. Both Picktons were later released, and Robert was kept under police surveillance. In 2002, Robert Pickton was arrested again and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in the deaths of Serena Abbotsway and Mona Wilson. On April 2nd, 3 more charges were added for the murders of Jacqueline McDonald, Diane Rock, and Heather Bottomley. A 6th for the murder of Andrea Josby was laid on April 9th, followed shortly by a 7th for Brenda Wolfe. On September 20th, 4 more were added for Patrina Papin, Patricia Johnson, Helen Hallmark, and Jennifer Furminger. Another 4 for Heather Chennock, Tanya Holick, Sherry Irving, and Inga Hall were laid on October 3rd. On May 26, 2005, 12 more came for Kara Ellis, Andrea Borhaven, Deborah Lynn Jones, Marnie Frey, Tiffany Drew, Carrie Kosky, Sarah DeVries, Cynthia Felix, Angela Jardine, Wendy Crawford, Diana Melnick, and Jane Doe, bringing the total to 27. Excavations continued at the farm through November 2003. The cost of the investigation is estimated to have been $70 million by the end of 2003, according to the provincial government. The property was fenced off under lien by the Crown and Right of British Columbia and remains so as of 2023. In the meantime, all the buildings on the property, except the small barn, had been demolished. Forensic analysis proved difficult because the bodies may have been left to decompose or be eaten by insects and pigs on the farm. During the early days of the excavations, forensic anthropologists brought in heavy equipment, including 2 50-foot flat conveyor belts and soil sifters, to find traces of human remains. On March 10, 2004, the government revealed that Pickton may have ground up human flesh and mixed it with pork that he sold to the public. The province's health authority later issued a warning. Another claim was made that he fed the bodies directly to his pigs. In 2003, a preliminary hearing was held, and the clothes and rubber boots that Pickton had been wearing during the Easter assault were seized by police from an RCMP storage locker. In 2004, lab testing showed that the DNA of 2 women, Borhaven and Ellis, were on the items. Pickton also stood accused of first-degree murder in the deaths of 21 other women. These charges were stayed on August 4, 2010. Pickton was also implicated in the deaths of, but not charged with, the murders of 3 women. Mary Ann Clark, age 25, disappeared in August 1991. Yvonne Marie Bowen, age 33, reported missing on March 16, 2001. And Dawn Teresa Cray, last seen in December 2000. After Pickton was arrested, witness Lynn Ellingson came forward to authorities claiming to have seen Pickton skinning a woman hanging from a meat hook years earlier, and claimed she had not told anyone about it out of fear of losing her life. However, Ellingson admitted she had blackmailed Pickton about the incident on more than one occasion. The victim's children filed a civil lawsuit in May 2013 against the Vancouver Police Department, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and the Crown for failing to protect the victims. They reached a settlement in March 2014, and each child was compensated $50,000 without admission of liability. On December 9, 2007, the jury found Pickton not guilty on 6 counts of first-degree murder, but he was found guilty on 6 counts of second-degree murder. On December 11, 2007, after reading 18 victim impact statements, British Columbia Supreme Court Judge Justice James Williams sentenced Pickton to life with no possibility of parole for 25 years, the maximum punishment for second-degree murder, and equal to the sentence which would have been imposed for a first-degree murder conviction, stating, "Mr. Pickton's conduct was murderous and repeatedly so. I cannot know the details, but I know this. What happened to them was senseless and despicable," unquote. On May 19, 2024, Pickton was attacked by another prisoner at the Port Cartier institution in Quebec. The prisoner, Martin Cherished, described as having a history of assaulting other prisoners, speared Pickton in the head with a broken broom handle. Pickton was airlifted to the hospital and put on life support. He died at a hospital in Quebec City from complications from the attack on May 31st. For more content, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you.